The US government has issued an export control directive to suspend all access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5 by any foreign national, whether inside or outside the United States, including foreign national Anthropic employees. And this is massive. All right, so during this video, let's look about what this means now, today, but also what it's going to mean for the rest of the world that are not affected by those limitations of building AI that is so powerful. Now, first, like and subscribe, and let's start. All right, so I woke up this morning with this news. So it's kind of something fresh. It's being released on Friday, so the market wouldn't panic and create like a massive bloodbath. But nevertheless, it's huge, and we need to reflect because it's not just about okay, we lost Fable 5. No, this is what is gonna happen in the future of development for this advanced model. Because the problem is simple. Okay, now the government set a threshold. Anything outside this threshold can be shared with the rest of the world, can be monetized all over around the world. Anything above this threshold can only be monetized to American citizens. Okay, it's not even, foreign people that live in the US. No, they must be American citizens. So you must check their passport. Otherwise, you don't know. So already the cost of checking and be sure that those American citizens is going to be massive. The company need to organize themselves to be able to do something like this. But then the cost of Fable 5 that was meant to be divided around the world now is to be covered mainly from US citizens. Another problem, the Anthropic was about to go on IPO. So the value of the company is connected to the fact that it could work and without limit all over the world. Now they can't. Okay, they only can offer model like Opus. They can improve this Opus, of course. They can be better, but better to a level, because it cannot be as good as Fable. So we already know what is the threshold. And once you have this threshold, okay, there is another thing that happened. Now there is a clear threshold where a corporation from outside the US can build an AI that is just above the threshold and they win. Okay, they win because why should I use Opus when I can use this other model that is just a bit better and is gonna be cheaper because can cover the cost of that one can be covered by 7.5 billion people compared to the 350 million people inside the US. Can you see the thing? So this is huge. So this is huge for everybody. Okay, because every single American corporation now have this threshold set. There is an option, okay, that US government will realize maybe it's too much what we're doing here. Maybe stopping something like this is too much. But at the same time, we had Anthropic itself saying those models are far too dangerous. Those should be, the AI development should stop, slow down, because this is dangerous. So they've been pushing this narrative on Mythos 5 and Fable 5 will be extremely powerful. Now the US government decide, okay, yes, let's take a break. Let's slow down. No need to rush. And now those are the consequences. So Anthropic being pushing this narrative, it actually didn't pay back. Now, of course, honestly, I really, in somehow, we need to see what is going to happen. Okay, really can be something that is tomorrow is a weekend problem. Okay, so tomorrow is going to be fixed. The government is going to say something, and end of the panic. Okay, the government got the world, the U.S. government management to get the whole attention around the world. They love this. Okay, good. And maybe on Monday when the stock market open, no panic, nothing. But if this doesn't get sorted, the whole scenario for AI is gonna change. Because it's one thing thinking to cover the entire planet with your data centers and instead of covering just the US. Why I'm saying just the US? Because like I said, if you have a threshold, no, where that is the model, maximum model that you can achieve. Now you have a window to which the rest of the world can catch up and get to that threshold. Once they pass that threshold, nobody's going to use your model anymore. Okay, everybody is going to move to the other models because they're going to be cheaper, because the cost of this model is going to be divided between the whole population around the world. Okay, so think about this to create, just to say a number, okay, to create Fable cost 1 billion. Now, because only people inside the US use it, the cost is going to be divided by the users within the US. The same cost, 1 billion, to create from another corporation a model that is comparable to Fable, means it's gonna cost 1 billion, but divided the population around the world. So per individual gonna cost less. I'm simplifying, but this is the concept. Okay, so because the number is so huge, okay, 350 million people live in the US compared to the 7.5 billion in the rest of the world, you can see, okay, even though the math is not so direct, but you can see that something that have access to such a big market can afford to have a lower price. Now, think about those lower price where Chinese, that is the bigger competitor, are building open source that is even free. Okay, so it's like the end. As soon as those Chinese model reach Opus, okay, and we know that Opus is gonna get better. Okay, they're gonna do Opus by 4.9 and 6 and so on, but nevertheless, there is a threshold to which the intelligence cannot pass. Chinese model don't have this problem, and though in 6 months time, 9 months time, 1 year time, they're gonna be better than Opus. That's it. At that point, it's over. So the IPO, completely different numbers now. And this is not just for Anthropic. Again, those numbers, those problems are also for OpenAI, Google, and so on. Okay, everybody, every company inside the US has this problem now. So for us, if we want to see into the positive side of this story, okay, what it means for us as a people that believe in having your sovereign AI, okay, your hardware at home, model that are powerful and run on your hardware. It means that probably now the demand of those data centers is going to go down, the price of RAM will go down, the development of this will slow down. So we have a moment of really interesting time. So we hopefully we will see lower price for this RAM, things getting more into the normal environment, because they were kind of going crazy, kind of really just price. It just didn't make sense. Okay, I bought my GX10 like a few months ago. I checked the price today. It's over $1,000 more expensive. Okay, but this is on all the hardware. So hopefully the things will become more calm, and therefore we can afford to buy better hardware, more hardware, and those open source model will get better and better. The other aspect to consider here is the innovation created by those American corporations was based on one simple principle. Okay, make it extremely expensive so no one can compete. No one has the potential to compete because you need billions to compete. Now, the strategy is going to change, because going towards into make it more and more expensive, it's actually it's going to come back in a way that is unsustainable, because again all the cost will be at the beginning is going to be keep kind of shared, okay, because Opus will be used by everybody. Now in 6 months time, they're going to be the open source will catch up with Opus. In 1 year time, we're probably going to have something similar to Fable. So there is a sort of 1 year that constantly is going to restrict the amount of money that this corporation, the U.S. corporation, going to make, and then all the cost will be moved to the U.S. citizens. Can they afford to pay, maybe twice, 3 times, 4 times the cost? Okay, instead of $50 now for Fable, for sure, even now, okay, as soon as they open again, they will be probably at $70, $100. Okay, they might fake it and seem and carry on with 50 for a little bit, but the math is math. Okay, they need to cover the cost, so it's gonna go up, and then if they want to carry on investing, they want to carry on building, and they must do it unless they want to just disappear, because at one point they now, like I said, in 1 year time, Chinese model will be able to do what Fable can do today. So they are gonna catch up. So they need to move forward, and they can't move forward just because they are expensive. Okay, they can't create that defense system in the sense I put more compute, more power, more electricity, more data centers, because that will create something that only American will need to cover those costs, and there is a final number, and it's gonna become just crazy. So they need to start to think about how to make it cheaper and more powerful. That could be also an interesting path. Another thing to consider here is the US company now have 1 year where they have this most powerful model compared to the rest of the world, and they can leverage this intelligence to build something incredible. Now, reality here is that even today, even with Fable, it's still hard to build something incredible with AI. Okay, because it's not just coding that is needed, it's also needed ideas. Okay, and those ideas are what change the world, and not just it's not just code. Okay, with code you go now with with this model. What you do, you go just faster. Okay, you allow people to do what they couldn't do before, but nevertheless you need ideas. So you have 1 year if you have ideas to do something amazing. If not, you're just gonna do a lot of extremely powerful slop from AI. Anyway, that is what I wanted to share. There is going to be a link in the description where you can have access to the deep dive article. So more data, more things, more thinking inside the deep dive article. And join the Discord. Watch the next video on Discord. Now I said it, okay. On Discord we have a community of builders, people that build with their sovereign system, with your local AI and so on. So if you're interested to be part of something like this, to build the future that we all need and deserve, join us on Discord. We have a community call 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, where we cover different kind of ideas and project and so on. We present our own project as a community. This is a decentralized communities. So the moment you join, you become part of a collective that co-own the community. So thanks for staying to the end. Watch the next video, like and subscribe, and enjoy your weekend. Ciao.